I stared at her in disbelief, my mind struggling to process her words over dinner. She had waited until we'd finished the apple pie, then dropped a bombshell. I can't sugarcoat this. The kids are gone. I've devoted 24 years to being a wife and mother, but now it's my turn. I need to focus on myself while I still can. I love you, but I'm moving on. If you want a divorce, I'll accept it. I have plans for Friday night, so you'll need to find dinner elsewhere. I sat there, stunned. She prompted me to respond. Good luck, I finally managed. Good luck, she replied sharply. I mean it. Good luck with your new life. But you need to move out tonight. We'll sell the house, you can buy me out if you want to keep it. I don't want to sell the house, she protested. You'll have to buy me out then, I said firmly. We'll split our assets. I'm calling a realtor tomorrow. Why rush this? She pleaded. Why not? You've ended our marriage. No point dragging it out, I retorted. Get your things out of our bedroom. And don't bring your lovers here. We need to talk about this, she insisted. No, we don't, I replied coldly. You made your choice. I'm not cheating, she protested. You made your intentions clear, I said, ending the discussion. Yes, Mandy, you are. You just admitted you already have a date for Friday night, not just looking but actively pursuing someone else. In my book, that's cheating. Get out of my sight and start moving your things. I stormed away from the table, retreating to my man cave, our garage, where I threw myself into restoring a 1965 Pontiac Catalina convertible. As I worked, memories flooded back to when this mess began, about 15 years ago, all because of my past. Back in high school, I was a notorious ladies' man. Pauline French took my virginity on my 18th birthday, and I enjoyed it so much that I pursued many more encounters. I was your typical love them and leave them guy until college, where a couple of girls decided to reform me. They made it their mission to warn other girls about me, and soon enough, my reputation preceded me. By junior year, I couldn't get a date if my life depended on it. In my senior year, I met Amanda Martin and fell head over heels in love. She was initially resistant. I know what kind of guy you are, she told me firmly. I won't be another notch on your bedpost. Her rejection hit hard, and despite my efforts, she threatened legal action to keep me away. Gradually, I realized the consequences of my past behavior and spent the rest of senior year alone, regretting my mistakes. After graduation, I started working at Athena Group in marketing. Despite my changed approach, my good looks and physique still attracted attention from single and even married women in the office who were unaware of my history. It was a tempting situation for someone like me. But something unexpected happened along the way. I didn't take advantage of the attention. It was like I finally grew up. Sometime during my senior year, I realized that if I ever wanted a meaningful relationship like I had dreamed of with Amanda, I needed to change. I wanted something real with her. A year passed, and although I dated frequently, I kept myself in check. There was a brief friends with benefits situation that lasted about 6 months until she moved away. Despite all the dates, none of the women I met compared to how Amanda made me feel. She became my standard, the benchmark for what I was searching for, and I began to fear I might never find it. One evening after a late night at work, I stopped by the Purple Onion on my way home. Susie, the bartender who knew me well, had my usual vodka tonic waiting for me. I had been there for about half an hour when I heard a commotion behind me, a woman's voice protesting loudly. "Let go of me. You've been leading me on all night." "We're not ending this night without more," a man retorted aggressively. Normally, I minded my own business, but hearing such disrespect in public set me off. I approached the man and told him firmly to leave the bar. "Who's going to make me, you?" he challenged. "You bet," I replied. "Fuck you," he said and swung at me. I blocked his punch and struck back hard. He stumbled, and I hit him twice more before grabbing him in a hold and guiding him out of the bar, his face hitting the door as we went. I marched him to the dumpster and dropped him in, warning him not to return if he was smart. My mood soured, so I left without going back inside, heading straight home for a shower and bed. 3 days later, I returned to the Purple Onion. Susie greeted me with my drink and handed me an envelope. "What's this?" I asked, curious. "When you escorted that jerk out the other night, you left your money on the bar. You're a good tipper, but not that good, so I put it in the register for you." I took the envelope without opening it and pulled out my wallet to pay for my drink. Susie pushed the money back towards me. "Your money's no good here tonight." "Why is that?" "The lady you rescued the other night told me to call her when you came back. She wants to buy your drinks tonight." "You're kidding." "Not at all. She wants to thank you herself." By my third vodka tonic, Susie placed a glass of white wine on the stool next to me. Before I could ask, Amanda Martin sat down, smiling. "Hi, Rob. Long time no see." I was speechless at seeing her again after so many years. "What's the matter, Rob? You're usually not this quiet." "I'm just surprised to see you. It could have been sooner if you'd come back after dealing with Dirk the other night." "That was you he was bothering?" "Yes. Unfortunately, he was another mistake of mine. Seems I have a knack for picking the wrong men." Not knowing what to say, I asked about her life since school. We talked, and I invited her to join me for dinner. By the time dessert arrived, we had plans for the next night and many more after. 6 months later, I proposed, and Amanda said yes. Amanda came into our marriage a virgin, which would profoundly impact our future. A year later, Jason William was born, followed by Amber Marie a year and a half after that. 5 years into our marriage, Amanda posed a daunting question. "You know I love you, right?" "Of course." "And you know I'd never do anything to hurt our marriage?" "Don't beat around the bush, Mandy. Just tell me." "I came into our marriage a virgin. You had a lot of experience before we met, and I've always wondered what I missed out on by waiting." I sat in silence, unsure how to respond as she continued. "Do you remember Sally Stiles?" Amanda asked abruptly. I nodded. Sally was one of Amanda's college friends, and I knew they stayed in touch. "Well, Sally and I talk a lot," Amanda began. She was telling me about her sex life with her husband, Ralph. I admitted to her that you were the only man I've ever been with, and I confessed to being curious about what I missed by waiting until marriage. I felt a sinking feeling. "What are you saying, Mandy?" "I don't know how to say it without you getting upset," she hesitated. "Just say it." "I'd like to have sex with another man." I was dumbfounded. "Are you serious?" "Please, just hear me out, Rob," Amanda pleaded. "I love you, and I'm happy with our marriage. I just want to experience sex with someone else, no emotions, just physical. Sally and Ralph belong to a swingers group, and they said they'd sponsor us. Everyone gets tested regularly, so it's safe. We would do it together. It would spice things up for you and satisfy my curiosity." "You must be kidding me if you think I'd agree to that," I replied angrily. "If you wanted to experiment, you should have done it before we got married. I'm telling you now, stop listening to Sally and drop this idea." "I just wanna." "No. Absolutely not. Drop it, Amanda. I don't want to discuss it anymore." The atmosphere at home was tense for a couple of days, but then things returned to normal. However, Amanda didn't let go of the idea. She brought it up occasionally over the years, especially when we were drinking or socializing. One notable instance was on her 38th birthday. After dinner, we went out for drinks and dancing. As the night progressed and we were on the dance floor, Amanda pointed out an attractive couple. "She's sexy, don't you think? Wouldn't you like a taste of that?" she remarked. The woman was indeed attractive, but I knew where this was going. "I already have everything I want for tonight," I replied firmly. This scenario repeated itself several times over the years, and I suspected some instances were setups. One night, Sally and Ralph joined us, sitting down with a couple Amanda had been trying to interest me in. It was clear they were part of Sally's swingers circle, and Amanda hoped I'd take the bait. The events of that night left me with a stark realization: I needed to keep a closer eye on Mandy. Her continued friendship with Sally and her familiarity with the couple suggested Sally's involvement. If Mandy was connected to swingers, what else might she be involved in? She occasionally went for drinks with colleagues and had girls' nights out, but I didn't suspect infidelity. Everything I knew about swinger groups indicated they didn't admit singles, so I didn't believe Mandy would join just to satisfy her curiosity. Everything came to a head on Mandy's 39th birthday. When I asked her what she wanted as a gift, her request stunned me. I want to experience another man, just once. I promise I'll never ask again. Here's what I'll do, Amanda, I replied sternly. For your birthday, I'll consult a lawyer, file the papers, and have them served to you. Once we're divorced, you can do whatever you want. This is the last time I want to hear about this. Let me make it crystal clear. The only way you'll be with another man without consequences is if we're divorced or if I'm dead. Understand that. And if you ever bring this up again, I will divorce you immediately, no questions asked. I thought she understood because she never mentioned it again. Until the night she told me she was going to do it regardless of how I felt. The next morning, I contacted a realtor and a lawyer. Our assets would be split evenly. Amanda made as much as I did, so no alimony was necessary. With our children grown and gone, the main issue would be dividing the house. Amanda didn't seem to realize the consequences until she returned from work on Wednesday to find a for sale sign in our yard. It hit home when she was served divorce papers at her workplace on Thursday. She was furious when she got home that evening and confronted me. It's only fair, I told her calmly. What the hell are you talking about? I can account for your time, and if you were arranging dates with someone, it likely happened at work. So it seems fitting that since our marriage's end started at your workplace, that's where you were served. Nothing started at work. Whatever you say. What needed to be done is done. Now that you've been served, you're free to do whatever you want with other men. I stood up, put on my coat, and headed for the door. Where are you going? Amanda's voice cut through the tension. To the bar. I'm going to have a beer, shoot some pool, and start getting used to my new life as a single guy. We need to talk, Rob. No, Amanda. You said everything when you looked me in the eye and told me you were going to cheat on me, and if I didn't like it, I could get a divorce. Well, I didn't like it, so I'm filing for divorce. I left the house and headed straight to Bud's bar. There, I drank beer and played pool until late, returning home around 10:30. Amanda was already in bed, and the next morning, she remained in her room when I left for work. I wondered if she had dressed for a supposed date or taken a change of clothes. After work, I stopped at the Village Inn for dinner. When I arrived home at 7, I was surprised to see Amanda's car in the garage. I assumed she had come home from work, changed, and her date had picked her up here. The audacity of the guy struck me, knowing I might be there. With these thoughts, I entered the house and found Amanda sitting at the kitchen table, nursing a glass of wine. That was a quick date. Was he that disappointing? I remarked sarcastically. Fuck you, Rob. There was no date. I made it all up. Yeah, right. Like I'm supposed to believe that. I've wanted this for a long time, Rob. I felt I needed to do it while I still have my looks. Sally told me if I just told you, you wouldn't want to lose me and would agree. I warned you to stay away from her, but you never listened. How's that working out for you? This isn't a joke, Rob. It's gotten out of control. You need to call off the divorce, take the house off the market, and stop this nonsense. Why would I do that? I just told you, there was no date. I was bluffing to get you to agree. There's a problem with that, Amanda. What? I don't believe you. I think you didn't expect me to stand firm, and now you're trying to fix it. You probably called your date and changed your mind. Now you're scrambling to save our marriage. But I'm not buying it. You might as well call him back and tell him it's back on. Make sure your room is tidy before you go. Just in case you're not back by 9, there's a couple coming to see the house at 10. Good night. Enjoy your date. I hope it's worth what it cost you. As I left the room, Amanda started crying. There was a time I would have comforted her, but that was in the past. As I settled into bed, doubts gnawed at me about whether Amanda was telling the truth. It was plausible, but uncertainty lingered, which bothered me the most. Then an idea struck me, unconventional but worth a shot. It wouldn't cost anything to try. Retrieving my cell phone, I dialed Sally's number, whom I had on speed dial due to Amanda's frequent association with her. Sally, I need a favor. Can you pass a message to Mandy without disrupting her plans? She canceled her date. Supposed to be home talking to you, Sally replied. I haven't gone home yet. Guess I better hurry, I responded before ending the call and returning to bed. Amanda's claim that it was all a bluff seemed less credible now. In the morning, after making the bed and tidying up, I found Amanda in the kitchen. She looked like she hadn't slept well, but had coffee ready, which I poured myself. Is your room in order? I asked bluntly. You're really going to sell the house, aren't you? Amanda countered. Absolutely, I affirmed. I don't want a divorce, Rob. Please. It was a mistake. I don't want this, Amanda pleaded. This isn't just about what you want, Amanda. What about what I've wanted? I've told you repeatedly I won't share you with another man and that I don't want to hear about this anymore. Have I gotten what I wanted? No. You keep bringing it up, despite my clear stance. If I can't get what I want, why should you? I won't bring it up again, I promise, Amanda insisted. Maybe you won't, but that doesn't change the fact you want it. I believe you'll keep talking to Sally, hearing about how great it is to be with other men, and eventually you'll decide to do it behind my back. I'll catch you, and I'll end up in jail for what I do to the guy you cheat with. It's better to divorce now for irreconcilable differences than face that outcome. I'd never do that to you. Yes, I want to experience it, but only if you agree. That's why I keep bringing it up, hoping you'll come around. That's naive thinking, Amanda. Have I shown any sign in the last 15 years that I'll change my mind? No. It won't happen with my consent, and I believe deep down you'll realize that and still go ahead secretly, thinking you can hide it. As I prepared to leave for work, I confronted Amanda with a clarity born from years of knowing her intimately. The problem is, Amanda, you can't deceive me. I saw through your bluff about the date. You did have plans. You thought I'd cave to your ultimatum because you knew I loved you and wouldn't want to lose you. But I surprised you by agreeing to the divorce. That's when you realized you'd miscalculated and hurriedly canceled your date to salvage things. Deny it all you want, but you're a terrible liar. I knew you were lying through your teeth about the date. I'm tired of this charade, so I'll give you what you want. But there's a price, a divorce. As far as I'm concerned, now that you've been served, you're free to do as you please. Enjoy other men to your heart's content, Amanda, because our marriage is over. Now, is your room ready for viewing? No, it's not and won't be. I'm taking the day off, and the kitchen won't look great either. I plan to do a lot of baking, and it'll be messy. I'll even point out flaws during the walkthrough, maybe mention we haven't tackled the roach problem. I can't stop you, but understand the consequences. And what would those be? I'll move out, stop paying the mortgage and utilities. Eventually, the house will foreclose, and we'll lose out on its value. Or, you can take over payments and cover bills. Frankly, I doubt you can afford it on your salary, but that's your call. I grabbed my coffee and headed for the door. Off to work. I'll check in with the real estate agent this afternoon about the showing. If you've sabotaged it, utilities go in your name, and you handle the next payment due Wednesday. Robert, can't you see I don't want a divorce? Can't you see I don't care anymore? I stopped caring when you gave me that ultimatum. That ended our marriage, Amanda. You made your choice, and I chose divorce. She stared glumly as I left for work, the weight of our fractured relationship heavy in the air. At 1 o'clock, I phoned my friend Mark. How did it go? I asked. She stayed out of the way, Mark replied. Was the room she was using viewable? I inquired. Neat as a pin. Even the kitchen. My brother liked the house. He almost wishes that it really was for sale. If our plan doesn't work, it might be, I'm used. I've got my cousin and his girlfriend going to look at it the day after tomorrow, and my sister and brother-in-law on the day after that. After your cousin looks at it, I'll tell her that you called me with an offer. You really think this is going to work? Mark asked uncertainly. I hope so, but if it doesn't, at least I will have tried, I replied. When I returned home from work, Amanda was seated on the living room couch, engrossed in a book. As I entered, she set the book down and asked, "Should I fix dinner, or are you going out again tonight?" "If you're cooking for yourself, I'll stay in. Otherwise, I'll go out," I replied. "I haven't eaten all day, so I'll go fix something," she said, getting up and heading for the kitchen. While she prepared dinner, I went down to the basement to check the recorder I had placed on the phone line the day Mark put the for sale sign in the yard. The only noteworthy call was made just after I left for work that morning. "Hello?" Amanda answered. "Hi. It's me." "He just left for work," came a familiar voice. "Any change?" Amanda inquired. "No. I guess he is really going through with it. The realtor is bringing some people to look at the house this morning," the voice replied. "I don't know why you are so down about it. It frees you up to do what we've talked about," Amanda said. "I don't want to do it if it is going to cost me my marriage," the voice responded. "It looks to me like you have already lost it. If Rob does follow through on the divorce, you can hook back up with Rudy. You pretty near broke his heart when you canceled the other night. He was really looking forward to bringing you to the meeting. There were a couple of other guys who were also disappointed when you were a no-show," Amanda's voice continued. "Not as disappointed as I was when our plan didn't work. You assured me that Rob would give in rather than lose me," the other person said. "And I don't understand that at all. The man loves you. Everyone knows that he worships the ground you walk on. He should have caved into your ultimatum," Amanda lamented. "Well, he didn't, and now I can't even get him to talk to me," the voice replied sadly. "Given the hard line he is taking, what could you possibly say?" Amanda wondered aloud. "I don't know, but there has to be something I can say or do that will get him to put a stop to things," the voice reasoned. "I hate to say it, but the only thing I can see working is that you promise him that it will never be brought up again," Amanda suggested reluctantly. "The way things have been going, I don't think he would believe me. He doesn't trust anything I say anymore. He caught me in a lie about the date thing," Amanda confessed. "Oh shit!" Sally exclaimed. "What?" Amanda asked, alarmed. "He knows you were lying because he called me to check. I told him you had canceled the date to talk with him at home," Sally explained. "Oh God, now what can I do?" Amanda fretted. "I don't know if there's anything you can do, girl," Sally replied bluntly. "Don't say that. I can't lose Rob, I just can't." Amanda pleaded desperately. "Why not? Once you're free of him, you can have all the experiences you want. Besides Rudy, I know a good half-dozen guys we can hook you up with," Sally suggested casually. "I thought you were my friend, Sally, but I guess I'm wrong. It seems like your only interest in me is having someone you can hook up with your single friends who want to join your swing group. It's not going to be me, Sally. Not ever. Not without Rob going along with it, and I have finally accepted that it just isn't going to happen. He's never going to go along with it. Goodbye, Sally." I rewound the recorder and returned upstairs. I watched the evening news until Amanda called me to dinner. We ate in silence, and it wasn't until Amanda got up to start cleaning up that she spoke. "I don't want a divorce, Rob. What do I have to do to get you to drop the divorce and take the house off the market?" Amanda pleaded. "It doesn't matter, Amanda, because you can't do it," I replied. "How can you know that?" Amanda asked, hopeful. "Because you've had 15 years to prove it, and you haven't been able to do it." "There's no reason to believe you can now," I stated matter-of-factly. "What?" Amanda looked confused. "You need to end this other man bullshit. The problem now is that even if you promise me to drop it, I can't trust your word anymore. I can't shake the feeling that if a situation arises where you think you can get away with it, you'll go ahead and do it. I'll always remember you saying you needed to do it while you still had your looks. And then there's the fact you already lied to me about the date thing. No, Amanda, I just can't see it happening. You might want to start looking for a place to live. I talked to the real estate guy this afternoon, and the couple that looked at the house seemed to really like it. He thinks they're going to make an offer, I concluded firmly. This is just so unfair. I don't want to lose this place, Amanda lamented. You don't have to lose it. You can always buy me out of my share and keep the house. And how can it not be fair? You're getting what you've always wanted. You now have the freedom to experience another man or men. You should be happy, I replied calmly. I got up and left the table. When I returned home after spending a couple of hours on the Pontiac, Amanda was in her room. I went down to the basement and checked the recorder, but there was nothing of interest. I rewound it and headed up to bed, setting the alarm for 5 before going to sleep. I woke up early and left the house before Amanda emerged from her room. I stopped at IHOP for breakfast and had an extremely busy day, not dwelling much on the situation with Amanda. Deciding to eat out that night, I had dinner and then visited Bud's bar for a beer and some pool. I left around 10:15 and found the lights out at home with Amanda's car in the garage, indicating she was likely already in bed. Checking the recorder, I found only one call of interest. Hello? Amanda answered. Good evening, girlfriend, Sally greeted. What do you want, Sally? Amanda responded curtly. To get back on your good side. Why? Got another single guy who needs someone so he can get into your swing group? Amanda asked sarcastically. Don't be that way, mans. We were friends long before I met Ralph and got involved in the scene. And let's not forget, you were always pressing me for more information about what Ralph and I do, Sally explained. Okay, you've made your point, Amanda conceded. The reason I'm calling is to see if you can have lunch with me tomorrow. I think I have a way for you to get Rob to drop the divorce, Sally suggested. What is it? Amanda inquired cautiously. I'll tell you over lunch. I'm still working on the fine points of it. Sarducci's at noon work for you? Sally proposed. I can be there, Amanda agreed. Don't panic if I get there first and you see me sitting with a guy. I'm not trying to fix you up with anybody, but if my plan is workable, we'll need him. Got to run. See you at noon, Sally concluded before hanging up. I went to sleep pondering Sally's unexpected attempt to help Amanda save our marriage. Sally had never liked me, and the feeling was mutual, which might explain her motives. I was up and out of the house before Mandy woke up in the morning, leaving me with enough free time during the day to ponder over Sally and Mandy's lunch date. Was Sally genuinely trying to help Mandy, or was the lunch merely a ploy to lure Amanda into the swinging scene? Deciding to head straight home without stopping for dinner or drinks after work, I had barely made that decision when Mandy called me. She asked if I would be home for dinner or if I would be late again. I assured her I would be home around my usual time. Dinner was ready when I arrived home, and Mandy set it out on the table. The conversation was minimal, mostly limited to please pass the mashed potatoes or would you like some more green beans? After we finished eating, but before she cleared the table, Mandy slid an envelope across to me. As I reached for it, she began to speak. I had a phone call from Sally last night. She told me she had an idea on how I might be able to save our marriage. I met her for lunch, and she had a man from her swing group with her, but he was there in his capacity as a paralegal and a notary. Mandy paused briefly, then continued. Sally explained her idea, and I agreed with it. Abe, the paralegal, left us briefly and returned 20 minutes later with the document you have in your hands. I signed it, and he notarized my signature. All you have to do is read it and then sign where it says, I accept this agreement. What if I don't accept it? I asked cautiously. Why wouldn't you? It gives you everything you say you want and more, Mandy replied. Curious, I opened the envelope, withdrew the document, and read through it. Essentially, it was a legally binding postnuptial agreement. It stipulated that if Amanda violated any provisions, particularly regarding infidelity or attempts to involve me in extramarital affairs, she would forfeit any claim to marital assets in the event of divorce. Taking a pen from my shirt pocket, I signed on the line that said, "I accept this agreement." Mandy then added, "There's one thing the document doesn't specify." "What's that?" I inquired. "It doesn't become valid until after we have made love," she said, beginning to unbutton her blouse. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel not to miss new videos.